real with each other about what's going on here. It's just good and it's just evil. And why are we hating each other? Why is it that a lot of the people that I encounter on my page with their views that are my same skin color, why is it that they perpetrate the same hate that they want to blame white people for? It's hard for me to see what it is y'all trying to tell me when all the hate I get comes from my own people because I believe in supporting Trump. Absolutely. I don't care. Let me tell y'all something, and then I got to get ready to start my day. I don't care what nobody says. I will never support abortion. I'm a mother that has given birth to 5 children. I know that it is a baby. I know that that child is going to have a life that is totally separate from me. You can have a baby today and die tomorrow. That child still is going to have his own life and still have to live and grow without you. There is no way that I would ever support any party that believes in aborting our future, because here is my thing. We will not live forever. I will not live forever. We have to pass the torch. We have to continue to live. We have to continue to grow. How many Martin Luther King Jr.'s have we aborted? How many Obamas, y'all love him, have we aborted? How many doctors? How many peacemakers? Once that life has been created, right? Once that life has been created, it's only one way to end it. There is no way anybody can ever convince me that a party that wants to pay for me to abort my future is for me. No, because my children are my future. Right? I had a baby at 15. That baby is a lawyer. She is doing her thing. She is somebody that God put in my life to help me. You understand? Not hurt me. We don't know who our children are going to grow up to be. So I'll never do that. Even if I ever did decide to walk away from the Republican Party, it definitely wouldn't be to the Democrats. And then let me tell you something else, right? About these Democratic parties and when we talk about the party switch, because I've discussed this before. A lot of people don't know. There was, first of all, the first 23 black congressmen were all Republicans. Okay, when the founding principles of the Republican Party, let's talk about that. The Republicans have, in fact, right, freed the slaves, gave them voting rights, gave them citizenship. Every time there has been an advancement or a civil right issue, the Republicans have been for it and the Democrats have been against it. All you have to do is do your research. Now, when they talk about a party switch, let me tell you what happened. This is what happened with the party switch. Martin Luther King Jr. got in trouble down here in Georgia. He wasn't doing nothing but fighting for black people. They arrested him. When they arrested him, people called on President Nixon to intervene and get Martin Luther King out of jail. President Nixon would not move. Kennedy, who was a congressman at the time, he called the Georgia governor, pulled in some favors, and he's the one that got Martin out of prison. Martin's father had already told him, whoever got my son out of prison, I got a suitcase full of votes. When Kennedy got Martin out of jail as a congressman, he ran as the president, a Democratic president. This is not a long time ago. This was in some of our parents' lifetime. And that is when the supposed party switch happened and everybody followed Kennedy. But let me tell you something else, right? Regardless, the founding principles have never changed. The founding principles of the Democratic Party, you understand where I'm coming from, was the KKK. Okay? You cannot tell me that you are for black people if you support an organization, Planned Parenthood, that has put the majority of their abortion clinics in minority areas. You cannot tell me that you are for the advancement of minorities. You cannot tell me that you are for the advancement of minorities when you support, for one, the Clintons. Now, let's be for real about Hillary and her husband, Bill. We know that Bill was the one that passed Joe Biden's crime law, right? That crime bill, that 90s crime bill, that 3 strikes you out. The reason why a lot of you watching now probably grew up without fathers. Because your fathers or your granddaddies were in prison. Or a lot of you grew up without your brothers or your cousins or your people because they're locked up behind the Clintons. Remember that famous speech? We were all super predators that need to be brought to heel, right? It doesn't matter how we got there. We need to be brought to heel. Heel is a term that's used for a dog. When you want to put a dog under control and make sure that they obey your commands, okay? This is what they said about us. Not only that, Hillary supported Margaret Sanger. Who is Margaret Sanger? Well, Margaret Sanger is the founder of Planned Parenthood, which was based off of eugenics, based off of population control, based off of the fact that whites felt as though they were the superior race and wanted to make sure that black people did not continue to breed. So with abortion, right, the best way to get rid of a nigga is to kill him before he's born. Now, when we talking about oppression and when we are talking about racism, tell me how racist is it to end someone's life before they even have a chance to live? So a lot of what we see, and listen, Hillary was her biggest supporter. All you got to do is go look it up. Margaret Sanger's own words were, black people are like weeds that need to be exterminated. We're not even going to talk about her ties to the KKK. All you have to do is go research, even research Title X funding, which President Trump, right, just ended. There's a clause specifically in Title X funding that says it is to pay for the abortions of low-income people, right, living in low-income areas, that or people that do not have health insurance. Excuse me, but who are they talking about? We know who the low-income people are. Why are they low-income people? Well, they're low-income people because of these Democratic Party policies that keep us dependent on the government. So let me tell you something about my experience and where I come from. Because I was raised, right, out of poverty on my mother's side of the family. And I grew up with cousins that ended up having babies young, and everybody got stuck and dependent on a government system because they got approved for Section 8. And then when they got approved for Section 8, Section 8 told them, okay, we'll take care of you and you'll pay rent, but your man can't live here. So then there it was, that family was separated. See, that was a form of family separation right there. How is it that I'm a black person, I'm struggling, I'm a black mother, and I have a child? What if the father of my child is in school? What if he is trying to not be on these streets and not sell drugs so he can be home and help me raise my kids? So you tell me you take care of me, but you're not going to help me if my baby daddy lives with me. So that was the first form of family separation. So then not only that, let's talk about Section 8 again. They tell you you can only make a certain amount of income. So even if I am receiving welfare food stamps, I can only receive that if I make a certain amount of income. So 9 times out of 10, a single mother like myself was at one time dependent on government system, right? I'm afraid because I'm thinking, well, what if I get this job? Or what if I get fired? Well, what if I lose my benefits? How am I going to take care of my children? How am I going to go from paying rent that's $35 a month to paying rent that's $3,500 a month? So you got me stuck. Right? And then even if I do begin to make more money, I'm doing it on the side. It's a side hustle. I can't let you know. So there I am opening up the doors for me to go in prison based off of what? A crime of survival. Because I think I'm outsmarting the system. But the system is outsmarting me. See, they're smarter than any of us could ever be. So let's go back to those policies, right? Welfare, Section 8. So you put the black man out of the house. And then they create child support, right? Which enforces the black man to take care of these children. And he has to pay child support, even if he does not have it. Right? I'm all for men standing up and taking for their kids. And some of the females might get mad with me right now, but let's just tell the truth. Even if the man does not have it. So let's say if he did have a job and he's struggling or whatever, they lock him up. They put him in jail. So now he's arrested. Guess what? He loses his job while he's sitting in jail. Not only does he lose his job, his license is suspended. So even if he has a job, right, that requires for him to drive, now he's lost his driver's license. How is he going to get back and forth to work? How is a black man going to survive when you're taking them? Even you said he can't live in the house with you. So obviously he's somewhere else. He has to pay his own bills because of Section 8. How is he supposed to pay you and still survive on his own, right, without a side hustle? If he's not a man that's rich or affluent. We're just talking about the regular, everyday black male. So now you got him caught up. Right. So now he out here with his side hustle. Because guess what? He may be a black man and he may not be all that, but he may want all for his children. And we're not even going to get into the women that use the children as a pawn. We're not even going to talk about you that want to be able to have a choice to say, okay, I can kill this baby if I want it. But if the daddy don't want the baby, you're going to take him to court. They're going to make him take care of the baby. Even if it was another situation going on, we're going to completely ruin his life and they're going to make him be responsible. So why do we feel as though women shouldn't have to be responsible? It's time for us to wake up. Black people need to be financially free. I didn't get off. Guess when I got off of welfare? After I convicted a felony and got out of prison and they told me I was denied because I was a convicted felon. So here I am, a single mother that's been released from prison. I have all of these children. You're telling me that I cannot get certain benefits because I'm a convicted felon. Nobody wants to give me a job because I'm a convicted felon, right? What are my options? Because a real mother is not going to sit back and watch her children suffer. So what am I going to do? We talked about recidivism in prison being a revolving door. You telling me I'm free, but I'm not really free because I got to walk around with this tag on my forehead. So when I got out of prison and you told me that I was denied and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at my babies because their fathers are in prison. And when the fathers are in prison, you don't get child support, even though that child support continues to run up on that man when he was in prison. You'll be surprised how many men get out of prison, right? And can't even get started in life because they owe $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 in child support, right? So I'm out. You telling me I can't get government assistance because I'm a convicted felon? I don't have any support, so guess what I do? I get up off my ass and I start my own business. And no, it wasn't hard. I didn't have to go back to school. I didn't have to get an education, although I have. What I did was I found out what my God-given gift was, what God has given me, and I built myself up off of that. When I was in prison, I started writing. I wrote my first book when I was in prison. I realized I had a gift. So when I got out of prison, and these people are telling me, no, we're not going to hire you. And these people are telling me, no, you're not going to get any government assistance. And the fathers of my children are asking me, what do you want me to do? I'm in prison. I can't even provide for myself. How am I supposed to help you? I had to get up off my ass and make it happen. I went and took a class that taught me how to start a business. As of today, I am financially free. I don't need the government for anything. I'm teaching other people how to be financially free. So for the majority of our people that are stuck in that system, it's because they have gotten complacent. They are afraid that everything would crumble if they step out on their own. And a lot of us, we have dealt with that before. We know how that feels. You could be working a job for 20 years and then decide maybe you want to start your own business, but you're scared because you don't know if you're going to stand. Why are we supporting a party that wants us totally dependent on the government system so we will never be free? You can never be free as long as you have to collect. Listen, I make my days. I go to work when I get ready to go to work. I can make as much money as I want to. If I want to take a day off and I don't feel like working that day, I don't have to. If I want to spend some time with my kids, if I want to teach my children how to run my business, I started my organization to help people start businesses that already had a God-given gift. I didn't have to go back to college for 8 years to start my business because God had already placed something in me. So when I talk to my people, I try to figure out what is it that you are good at. Do you know how to cook? You can start a catering business right there. Are you good at typing? You can start editing. Are you good at painting? Are you good at carpentry work? You can start your own business. There is no reason for us to still be dependent on a government system that's telling us the only way we can survive is to abort our future. The devil is a lie. I will not be silent. I am going to keep fighting for the lives of the unborn. I am not here to make friends with anyone. I am not here to entertain the goats. I came to lead the sheep. See, there's a difference in a real leader and somebody that's just doing it for clout. I don't need you to like me. I just need for you to get this truth. I don't need for you to be my friend. I need for you to wake up.